Hey, what's up guys? Coach Chase Your Dreams here with the video. And this week I wanted to talk to you about one of the most common questions about preparing for any combat sport competition that I always get. And that is conditioning. Conditioning is the #1 question I get from everybody. Everybody's always afraid of gassing out. Cardio, I need more cardio. I want to make sure I don't get tired. That's the #1 fear we always have. Well, today I wanted to tackle the aerobic system. In my opinion, it's the most important aspect of all of the cardio system, all of the cardiorespiratory system. It's the #1 thing when it comes to your MMA conditioning or your BJJ conditioning or your wrestling match conditioning. Now, why is that? Why is the aerobic system the most important? Why do I believe that? Well, that reason is because it is the main source of energy or fuel for any activity that's longer than 3 minutes, that's greater than 3 minutes in duration. So anytime you're fighting multiple rounds, anytime you're in a round that's longer than 3 minutes, your primary source of fuel or energy for that is going to be the aerobic system. Another reason is it helps with mitochondria density. What are mitochondria? Mitochondria is the part of the cell that actually is responsible for energy production, and that's ATP, oxygen utilization and stuff like that. Also helps with capillary density, right? Capillaries all run throughout the whole entire body, all throughout our muscles, and we can actually build new capillaries. Training the aerobic system is going to actually do that. What do capillaries do? They transport oxygen to the muscle through the blood, right? More capillaries, more blood pumping through the muscle, more oxygen delivery. That's why that's very important. And we can actually build new capillaries when we do our cardio work, our long, slow duration, our conditioning, our aerobic system training. Another reason is recovery. Now, recovery, right? I'm talking about all different types of recovery here. This is recovery from the day after training. This is recovery in between rounds. This is recovery in the highest sense of it. If you are better, if you are more fit, if you are better conditioned, you're actually going to recover better in between your workouts. You're going to recover better in between your rounds. And if you ask me, that's one of the most important things we can have. If we recover better from the next training session, we get a higher quality training session, we get better training sessions, and these things add up over time. Another one is it's highly trainable, right? The aerobic system is the most trainable of all the energy systems that we have, okay? That's super important, right? Because we can improve on that one the most, right? It has the biggest impact and we can improve on that one the most. So that also works in our favor big time. And like I said, this is the foundation of everything else that we're gonna build off of. The aerobic system is the foundation. This is the #1 part, right? If I can increase my foundation, make my foundation bigger, then I can improve off everything else that we do. So this is extremely important. As you can see, physical fitness, your cardio, your conditioning level is really important. Over here with Chase Your Dreams, we stress this more than probably anybody else, right? I stress this over strength. I stress this over power. I stress this over everything. You can be the most technical guy in the world. You can be the most powerful guy, fastest guy, but guess what? When you're tired, that all goes to shit. What do they say? Fatigue makes a coward of us all, right? And this is absolutely true. You can be the most technical, but if you're too tired to complete that technique, throw it out the window. You can be the most powerful, but after 30 seconds when you're tired, after one round when you're tired, guess what? Your power goes out the window. Speed, same thing, right? So that's why we put a extreme importance or put a big emphasis on this over at CYD. Now, I'm gonna go over a couple more things with you guys, right? First off, I'm gonna go over mistakes. I'm gonna go over mistakes first. I think that's more important, and then I'll give you guys the last part of it so you can stay watching the video on how we're gonna improve it. Okay, so the mistakes I often see. First off, it's often skipped, right? Nobody likes to do this long, slow duration work. Yeah, so it's often skipped. A lot of people like to train in the gym. A lot of people like to do these things, hit pads. They like to grapple. They like to do all these things, but that tends to be higher intensity. So that's too much high intensity, right? So we're skipping over that foundation, right? We're actually teaching the body, we're actually training the body to use different sources of fuel other than what we should be using during those low intensity times. And this we can improve on big, right? We can put that bottom line, increase that bottom line much higher so it takes you longer to get to those other energy systems, those other sources of fuel, right? And it's not seen as specific, right? Oh, well, a fight is high intensity. Jiu-jitsu is high intensity. So all my training should be high intensity. False. Because then you're skipping your foundational work, right? It's not seen as specific. So people just skip right over it. It doesn't matter. No, this is wrong. This is a poor mentality, right? Like I said, we want to increase that foundation, increase that baseline so we can tap into those other fuel stores later than our opponent can, right? The longer we can go into those reserves of that anaerobic, those using our glucose and using different things for energy, the better that is for us. The longer we're going to last in the fight. And then, you know, at the end of the day, it's viewed by many as boring. A lot of people think this is boring. I don't want to go ride the bike for an hour. I don't like running for an hour, or I don't want to go swim or whatever for an hour. And it's their loss. At the end of the day, they're hurting themselves. It's detrimental to themselves. So yeah, it might be boring, but this is the work we got to do. Do you want to be an athlete or no? Do you want to have a healthy heart or no? Do you want to improve your cardio or no? The choice is yours. Now, let's get to it. Specifically, how do we improve this? How do we improve our aerobic energy system? Well, number one, heart rate training. We are going to have to keep our heart rate less than our anaerobic threshold. You know, a lot of people will call this your zone 2 training, right? So for everybody that's different. Usually from what I see, it's going to be probably under 150. The zone, take notes on this, the zone is usually between 120 to 150, 155. A highly trained athlete, I've seen as high as 160, right? So if you don't know, keep it on the lower side. Start out in the 120s and build up over time. A good way to gauge this is like if you're training and you start to feel that burning, or you can't really have a conversation during this training, then you're probably getting into that anaerobic zone. You're starting to use different sources of fuel for energy. So keep it below that. Remember, we want to train below that. That's how we should work on this specific energy system. Another thing is, we're going to do 45 to 90 minutes a day. Okay? 45 to 90 minutes. Now, you can start at 45. That doesn't mean remain at 45 forever, right? So each week we should try to improve on that. It's, you know, just progressive overload. We want to overload the system. So that's yeah. It doesn't, you know. I wish there was another way. I wish we can cheat it, but there's no shortcuts in life. There's no shortcuts in training. Everything you do will be exposed, and work that you put in will show. We can do this as many times as 7 and as little times as 2. In my opinion, if you're really trying to improve on these things, the more the better. This is not going to overstress your system. It's not super stressful. It's not super high intensity, so it doesn't really overstress the system. And I put this in there. This should be done 52 weeks a year. If you want to be an athlete, if you want to consider yourself a professional, you should be doing this all the time. Now, for general health, even, right? For my general health people, listen, man. 52 weeks a year, it's at least 50. You know, some weeks you can take off. I don't care if you go on vacation, you can still find your time in the morning or in the evening to go do this, especially if you're a pro athlete. If you're taking 1 month and you're not doing no cardio, I don't think you're really serious about what you want to do, and maybe you should look for something else to do. Yeah, I know that's harsh, but that's how I feel about it. You're a pro athlete, take this shit serious. This is your life, this is your livelihood. And if you don't want to take that serious, then I don't want to take you serious. Now methods, right? Methods of how we're going to do these things. So LISS, what is that? Low intensity, steady state, right? So it's going to be something like jogging. It's going to be something like biking. It's going to be something like rowing, swimming, whatever it is that you like, even hiking, right? LSD is the same thing, long, slow duration. It's the same thing. I just put those because they're kind of synonymous with each other. Long, slow duration, it's just, you're just going for an extended period of time, that 45 to 90 minutes. Under that heart rate zone that we talked about. And one bonus method I'm going to give you guys on how we train this over here is it's tempos. We use a tempo method. What are tempos? So we usually do, for us, we usually like to do 15 seconds on a bike or on a VersaClimber or something like that we have here. But it doesn't matter what it's on. It can be the rower, it can be running. I use it for myself for running a lot because I like to run. 15 seconds at about 70% effort, and that's my perceived effort. So however I perceive that intensity. So I'm going about 70% effort. And then 45 seconds of about 40 to 50% of that effort, right? So I like to use shadow boxing with that because it's just fun, and it's not like just keep running the whole time. I like to do that. It could be shadow wrestling, it could be whatever it is that you want, but I want you to be moving throughout this whole time. We usually start out at like 15 to 20 repetitions of this and build all the way up to 30. So we're doing this for 30 minutes straight. So today we talked about how to improve your aerobic energy system, and which will in turn improve your conditioning for jiu-jitsu tournaments, MMA fights, any combat sports scenario. We talked about why the aerobic system is important, okay? Why is it important? It's the main source of energy for any activity lasting longer than 3 minutes. It helps with recovery, it's highly trainable, and it's the foundation. Those are the main keys I want to take with you. Mistakes I often see. Most people skip it, right? It's the boring shit. Nobody likes to do it. It's boring. Yeah, I gotta sit there and do this. Don't skip it. If you're serious about your performance, you're serious about your health, you're not gonna skip this type of training, okay? And then how do we improve it? Well, we improve it by training 45 to 90 minutes a day, under that heart rate we talked about. We do that 2 to 7 days a week and also 52 weeks a year. This is not negotiable. This is important. So treat it like it is. And we went over methods on how we achieve those within these parameters. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Again, thank you from Chase Your Dreams. I hope you guys share, like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Please, this is going to help us out a lot. I want to start sharing more information with you guys. I hope you liked it, and see you next time. Let's go.